Imagine spending Christmas Eve surrounded by silence, but feeling a storm brewing inside your family. And you're only 12. That's exactly what Emma faced, her home hiding secrets darker than the winter night. You'll see how this brave girl, despite her innocence, finds the strength to confront her father's hidden struggles and step into a role she never expected. In this story, you'll discover how one child's compassion and courage can challenge the darkness and what it truly takes to protect those you love. But here's the twist. Her journey doesn't end with tears. It's about hope, resilience, and the power of one young girl to change everything. And wait until you hear what Emma did that night to save her family. It'll blow your mind. If you've ever faced a moment when you had to be brave beyond your years, drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Hit that like button if you believe even in the worst darkness, hope can still shine bright. And stay with us for the full story. It was Christmas Eve. The house was quiet, but I could feel that something was wrong. Everywhere I looked, there were decorations and lights, but I knew our family's Christmas was not happy. I am Emma. I am 12 years old. I look at the shiny ornaments on the tree and try to smile. I want Liam, my little brother, to have a good Christmas, but deep inside, I feel worried. I see my mother sitting alone in the corner. She smiles, but I see her eyes are sad. My father promised us a special Christmas. He said we would have fun, laugh, and open gifts. I have learned to be careful. I don't believe him much anymore. I see a faint shadow in his eyes. I wonder if he is hiding something. The house is filled with quiet sounds. My father is acting strange. Sometimes I see him sneak away quietly. My mother tries to act normal, but I see her face is tense. She looks tired. I hear her quietly crying sometimes, but she quickly wipes her tears and puts on a brave smile. I want to help. I want to make everything okay for Liam. He is only 6. He still believes in Santa and Christmas magic. I want to keep that magic alive for him. So I decide to do my best. I quietly start making small gifts for Liam. I find some old boxes and wrapping paper. I cut out paper shapes and draw pictures. I make simple toys from cardboard. I tell Liam, "Look, I made you a Christmas present." I give him a small handmade gift. His face lights up. He hugs it tight. "Wow, Emma, it's the best gift ever," he says with a big smile. I hold him close, pretending everything is okay. But I know the truth. I see the pawned family watch and the broken ornament on the shelf. I find a small family photo with a missing corner. Someone took it to pawn for money. My stomach feels heavy. I wonder how Christmas can be happy when our family is falling apart. Later that night, I hear a noise outside. It's dark now. I quietly slip out of my room and peek outside. I see my father going out the back door. He looks around carefully, then walks down the street. He is heading somewhere I don't understand. I decide to follow him. I quietly step outside and walk behind him, hiding in the shadows. I keep close, my heart pounding. I want to know where he goes, what he does. Maybe I can find a way to help, or at least understand what is happening. He enters a small building nearby. It is smoky and noisy inside. I peek through a crack in the door. I see him sitting at a table with people I don't recognize. Cards are on the table. Money changes hands quickly. My father looks nervous, sad, and lost. He is gambling. My stomach feels tight. I feel my childhood slipping away. I see him losing money, again and again. I see the regret in his eyes. He looks helpless. It's as if he is caught in a trap he cannot escape. I quietly step back. I want to cry, but I hold back. I know I have to be brave. I want my father to stop, to remember who he is. I want him to see that his family needs him. When I get home, I find Liam asleep under a blanket. My mother is still sitting alone. I go to her and softly say, "Mom, I made a Christmas for Liam. I want him to feel happy." She looks at me with tired eyes. She smiles a little, but it doesn't reach her face. "I'll make sure Liam has a good Christmas," I say softly, "even if everything else is broken." My mother nods quietly. She looks at me and whispers, "Thank you, Emma." I hold her hand, feeling a little stronger. That night, I sit by the window and look at the stars. I wonder what tomorrow will bring. I know Christmas is not just about gifts. It is about hope, love, and family. Even in this dark night, I promise myself I will try to be brave. I will do everything I can to keep Liam safe. I will not let this Christmas be the end of our story. I will wait and hope for a better tomorrow. Tomorrow may be hard, but I will face it. I am Emma, and I will never stop caring. This was the first night of a very hard Christmas, but I learned that even in the darkness, there can be a small light. I will hold on to that light. I will grow stronger. And maybe, just maybe, things can get better. I woke up early on Christmas morning. The house was quiet, except for the soft sound of my little brother Liam sleeping. I looked around. The decorations looked sad this year. The Christmas tree had a few lights, but no presents underneath. The house felt different. It was not the Christmas I had dreamed of. I remembered what I saw last night. My dad sneaked out after dinner. I saw him slip out the door quietly. I was worried. I wondered where he went. We didn't talk about it. My mom looked tired, but she smiled and said everything was okay. I knew it was not. I felt a little scared. I wanted to make Liam happy. I got some old boxes and wrapped them with paper I found. I told Liam they were new gifts. He smiled big and hugged me. "Thanks, Emma. This is the best Christmas ever," he said. I hugged him back, but inside I felt sad. I knew we were pretending. It was not a real Christmas. I quietly went to the small corner of the house where I kept my little secrets. I looked at the small gift I had hidden there. It was a tiny broken ornament from last year. I held it tight. I told myself I would try to make this Christmas better for Liam, even if everything else was broken. Later, I heard my mom talking to herself in a soft voice. I peeked into the kitchen. She was sitting at the table, holding her head. Her eyes looked tired, and her smile was small. I knew she was hurting too. I wanted to help her. I wanted to fix everything, but I didn't know how. After breakfast, I decided to find my dad. I wanted to ask him where he went last night. Maybe he was just tired, or maybe he was trying to fix himself. I took a deep breath and quietly followed him. I stayed behind a wall, watching him walk out of the house and into the cold. I saw him go down the street. It was dark and quiet. He turned into a small building with a flickering light. I knew that was his secret place. My heart started to beat faster. I didn't want to see him there, but I had to know the truth. I slipped behind a corner and peeked inside. The room was smoky and loud. Men were sitting around a table, gambling with cards and coins. My dad looked worried and upset. He was gambling his money away, trying to forget his problems. I saw the look in his eyes. He looked lost. My stomach sank. I felt my childhood slipping away. I knew he was doing something wrong, but I also saw that he looked sad and trapped. I wanted to run back home and tell him to stop, but I knew I couldn't. I had to be brave. I quietly slipped away and ran back home. When I got inside, I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I felt tired, but I knew I had to be strong. I looked at Liam, still sleeping peacefully. I promised myself I would do everything I could to protect him. That Christmas was not perfect. Things were broken, and secrets were kept, but I learned something important. Even in the dark, there is a little light, and that light is inside me. I promised myself I would be brave. I would keep Liam safe. I would try to make our family stronger, no matter what. Later that day, I told my mom I wanted to help her. She looked at me and smiled a small, tired smile. "Thank you, Emma," she said softly. I knew she was tired but grateful. I hugged her, feeling a tiny spark of hope. That night, I looked at the stars through the window. I saw the glow of Christmas lights in the sky. I didn't have many gifts this year, but I had something better. I had hope, and I had the promise to stay strong and be brave. I knew that no matter how dark the night, the morning would come again. This Christmas was hard, but it was also the start of something new, something stronger, I was learning that even when promises are broken and secrets are revealed, love and hope can still grow. I was growing too, little by little. I was becoming someone who could protect my family, even when I was only 12. And I promised myself this: next Christmas, we would be different. We would be better, because I was learning how to be brave, and that was the best gift of all. It was Christmas morning, but everything felt different this year. The house was quiet and a little messy. The decorations were fewer, and there were no big presents under the tree. Instead, I had made small gifts from cardboard and paper. Liam was very excited. He ran around with a big smile on his face. I cleaned the table and put the homemade gifts on it. Liam saw them and clapped his hands. "Look, Emma, gifts. It's like real Christmas." I smiled and hugged him. "Yes, Liam, it's our special Christmas." Mom came into the room. She looked tired, but tried to smile. "Merry Christmas," she said softly. Her eyes looked sad, but she held Liam close. I knew she was worried deep inside. Sometimes I saw her quiet tears at night, but today she tried to be strong for us. I looked around our little home. Things weren't perfect. Our Christmas was small, no shiny decorations or big presents. But I wanted Liam to feel happy. He deserved a good day, even if everything was hard. I took a deep breath. "Let's pretend it's a real Christmas," I said. "We'll make it fun." Liam nodded eagerly. "I love Christmas, Emma." I looked at Mom. "We can do this. We will make it special." Liam opened his gifts first. They were simple: some paper stars, a handmade card, and a tiny paper snowman. His face lit up. "Wow, I love my gifts." Mom tucked Liam into her lap. "They are perfect," she whispered. She looked at me and gave a soft smile. It was a small thing, but I saw hope in her eyes. That night, I sat alone in my room. I thought about Dad. I wondered where he was. I hadn't seen him today. I knew he was still caught in his problems. Gambling had taken so much from us. It had taken our money, our trust, and parts of our hope. I remembered how he promised a special Christmas. But this year it wasn't special. It was just quiet and sad. Still, I promised myself I would be brave. I would keep Liam safe and happy. Maybe someday, things could get better. Later, I quietly snuck out of the house. I wanted to find Dad. I needed to see if he was okay. I tiptoed past Mom and Liam, careful not to wake them. Outside, the cold air bit my cheeks. I looked around for him. I saw flickering lights from the edge of town. I followed them, feeling nervous but determined. Soon, I reached the place where Dad spent his nights, the gambling den. It was a small, dark room with only a few lights. I could smell smoke and hear the soft clink of coins. I stood outside, watching him. He was sitting alone at a small table, shuffling cards and looking worried. His face was tired, and his eyes seemed lost. I felt my heart beat faster. This was not the Dad I knew. It was a broken man trapped by his problems. I took a deep breath. I wanted to help, but I didn't know how. I stayed silent, watching him. I knew I had to be brave, even if I was scared. I knew that if I wanted to save my family, I had to confront what was hurting us. After a few minutes, Dad looked up and saw me. His eyes widened in surprise. "Emma?" he said softly. I stepped closer. "Daddy," I whispered. "Why are you here? Why are you hurting our family?" He looked down, ashamed. I don't know how to stop, Emma. I'm stuck. The games, the money, it's all too much." I felt tears come to my eyes. I wanted to tell him to stop, to come home, to be better, but I couldn't. Instead, I reached out my hand and gently touched his arm. "You don't have to be like this," I said softly. "You can get help. You can be better. We still love you." He looked at me with sad eyes. "I'm sorry, Emma. I really am. I don't want to hurt you or Liam. I don't know what to do." I nodded. "You can try to stop. We want you to come home. We need you. Please don't give up." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he slowly nodded. "Maybe I will try. I don't want to lose everything." I felt a small spark of hope. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I had made a little difference. I watched as he looked around the room, as if realizing what he was risking. I quietly slipped away and headed back home. I didn't want him to see me cry. I wanted to be strong for Liam and Mom. When I got back, I found Liam asleep, clutching his tiny paper snowman. Mom was in the kitchen, by herself. I went to her and hugged her tight. "Mom, I saw Dad," I whispered. "He's sad and lost, but I told him we love him and want him to get better." Mom looked at me and smiled a little. "That's good, Emma. I'm proud of you." I looked at her and said, "We have to stay strong. We will get through this, I promise." As I lay in bed that night, I thought about everything. I knew our family was broken, but I also knew I had to be brave. I had to protect Liam and Mom. I promised myself I would never let the darkness take over us completely. This Christmas was hard, but I also felt something new inside me, a tiny light of hope. Maybe, just maybe, things could change, and I would be ready for that day. I was no longer just a girl who believed in Christmas. I was becoming someone who believed in hope, even in the darkest night. It was late on Christmas night. Outside, the snow kept falling quietly. Inside our house, everything felt cold and heavy. The Christmas tree stood in the corner, but its lights looked dim. Our home was not the happy place I had hoped for. I sat on my little bed, and Liam was curled up next to me. We had made the best of a tough day. I gave Liam a cardboard box wrapped in old paper. It was just a pretend gift, but he smiled and said, "Thank you, Emma. It's the best gift ever." I looked around the room. Our house was full of quiet sadness. Mother was in the kitchen, quietly crying. She hid her tears behind a smile, but I knew she was hurting. Dad was not home. He had gone out earlier, and I felt something strange in my stomach. I whispered to Liam, "Let's pretend today was a real Christmas. We have our love. And that's enough." Liam nodded happily. "Yeah, Santa will bring us something tomorrow. I can feel it." But I knew the truth. I had seen the signs. I had followed Dad last night. I saw him in a smoky room, sitting at a table. He was gambling with money we didn't have. All those coins and cards made my heart heavy. That night, I softly got up and tiptoed out of our room. I wanted to find Dad. I needed to see where he was. I quietly moved through the house and out the door. Outside, the cold air nipped at my cheeks. My feet crunched on the snow as I followed the faint light in the distance. Soon I saw a small, dim room. It was Dad's secret place. The door was partly open. I peeked inside. It was smoky and noisy. Men were sitting around a table, playing cards and betting money. Dad was there, looking tired and sad. My heart felt heavy. I wanted to run back and hide, but I knew I had to do something. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. "Dad," I said softly. He looked up and saw me. His face was full of worry and regret. He looked at me like I was a surprise. "Emma, what are you doing here?" he whispered. "I followed you," I said. "Why are you here? Why are you gambling?" He looked down at the table. His hands trembled. I don't know how to stop," he said quietly. "I just want to forget my problems. I thought maybe I could win enough to fix everything." Hearing that made my eyes fill with tears. I felt my little girl heart break for him. "Dad," I whispered, "you don't have to do this. You're hurting us. Please stop. I want us to be a real family again. I want us to be happy." He looked at me. For a moment, his eyes looked tired and lost. Then he sighed deeply. "I'm sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry. I don't want to hurt you or Mommy or Liam. I feel trapped. I don't know how to get out of this." I stepped closer and took his hand gently. "You don't have to do it alone. We can help. We can find a way to stop. But you have to want to change." He looked at me with sad eyes. I saw the regret in his face. I knew this was a hard moment for him. I wanted him to see that I cared. "Promise me, Dad," I said softly. "Promise you will try to be better. For us, for Liam, for yourself." He nodded slowly. "I promise, Emma. I will try. I don't want to lose everything. I want to be a good dad again." I felt a small hope inside my chest. Maybe things could get better. Maybe not all hope was gone. I quietly left the room and ran back home. When I got back, Liam was still there, waiting for me. I hugged him tight and whispered, "We have to stay strong. We'll get through this, Liam, I promise." Mother was still in the kitchen. I went to her and sat beside her. I took her hand in mine. "Mom, I saw Dad tonight. He's not happy, but he said he wants to change." She looked at me with tired eyes. "That's good, Emma. Maybe there's still hope. Maybe we can all find a way out of this darkness." I looked at her and Liam. I knew this night was hard, but I also knew that little by little, we were starting to find a way to hope again. I looked up at the sky outside. The snow kept falling softly. I whispered to myself, "No matter how dark it gets, I will stay strong. I will protect my family, and maybe, someday, we will find our happiness again." As I closed my eyes, I promised myself I would never give up, not on my family, and not on hope. Because even in the coldest night, there is a tiny light that can lead us home. It was Christmas night. The house was quiet, but I could feel that something was wrong. Even though it looked like a happy holiday from the outside, I knew better. My family was hurting inside. My father had been acting strange. My mother was trying to hide her tears. Liam, my little brother, was still smiling, but I saw a shadow in his eyes. I was 12 years old now. I had been through a lot this Christmas. I had tried my best to make Liam happy, even with cardboard gifts and fake smiles. I told him Santa was coming, and that this Christmas was special. I did everything I could to keep his hope alive. But I knew that deep inside, things were not okay. I looked around the room. The small decorations I had made looked lonely on the wall. The house was quiet because my parents didn't want Liam to hear their troubles. I felt tired, but also strong. I knew I had to do something. I had to find my father and ask him why he was hurting us so much. I waited until late at night. I slipped out of bed and tiptoed quietly. I knew where my father sometimes went after dinner. I followed him through the dark hallways. My heart pounded in my chest. I was scared, but I had to be brave. I quietly opened the door to the living room. There I saw him. My father was sitting in a smoky, dim room. There were cards and chips on the table. The room smelled of smoke and regret. I felt my innocence slipping away, but I didn't run. I stayed still, watching. I saw tears in his eyes. He looked lost and sad. I wanted to say something, but I was too afraid. I knew I had to be brave for Liam and for my family. I stepped closer and asked softly, "Dad, why are you hurting us? Why are you gambling and making things worse?" He looked up at me. His face was full of shame. He shook his head slowly. I don't want to do this," he whispered. "I can't stop. It's like a voice inside me tells me to keep going. I feel trapped and helpless. I want to be better, but I don't know how." Hearing that made my heart hurt. I saw that he was not a monster, just a man who was sick inside. I took a deep breath and said softly, "You're not a monster, Dad. We all make mistakes, but I believe you can change. You don't have to do this anymore. You can be strong." He looked at me with sad eyes. I could see he wanted to believe me, but he was too hurt and weak. I felt a strange feeling inside me, like I was becoming someone bigger than I was. I realized I had to be brave enough to tell him the truth. I had to show him that even in the dark, there is hope. I quietly reached out my hand. "Please, Dad," I said softly. "Try to stop. Come back home. We need you. Liam needs his dad. Mom needs her husband. I need my father to be strong." He looked at my hand and then at me. His shoulders shook. He nodded very slowly. "I will try," he said, almost whispering. "I promise I will try." I turned and quietly slipped back to my room. I was tired, but I felt proud. I had faced the darkness and told the truth. I knew my father was still weak, but I believed in him. I believed that even in the worst night, there is a small light of hope. When I got back to my bed, Liam was sleeping peacefully. His tiny hand was holding his small teddy bear. I looked at him and smiled softly. I whispered to myself, "I will protect him. I will be strong for him." My mother woke up early the next morning. She saw me sitting by the window, looking at the snow outside. I told her about what I saw and what I said to Dad. She smiled a little and hugged me. She looked tired but hopeful. We all knew it would not be easy to fix everything. But somehow, I felt that this Christmas night had changed something inside us. Maybe it was the start of a new hope. Maybe, just maybe, our family could heal. I looked at Liam and my mother. I promised myself that I would never give up. I would keep fighting for us. Because I learned that even when everything seems broken, love and hope can still shine through. This Christmas night was hard. It was cold and full of pain. But it was also the night I found my courage. And I knew that tomorrow was a new day, that we could start rebuilding, one small step at a time. It was Christmas night. The house was quiet, but my heart felt heavy. I looked around and saw the small decorations I had made for Liam, the paper snowflakes, the little handmade presents. It wasn't the Christmas I dreamed of, but I wanted Liam to feel happy. I hoped these small gifts could make him smile. My mom was sitting in the corner. She looked tired, but she was smiling. It was a small, brittle smile, like she was hiding her pain. I knew she was tired of pretending everything was okay, but she tried her best to keep us going. I sat beside Liam. He was only 6, and he still believed in Santa. He looked at the little gifts I made and clapped his hands. "Wow, Emma, this is the best Christmas ever." I nodded and hugged him tight. "It's our Christmas," I said softly. "We'll make it special, no matter what." I looked out the window. The snow was falling gently, covering the world in white. But inside, I felt cold. I knew the truth about my family. Dad had gone out again last night. I saw him leave when I was supposed to be asleep. I wanted to follow him, to see where he went. But I stayed quiet. I didn't want Liam to worry. Later that night, I decided to do something brave. I remembered the secret I had kept hidden for a while. I had followed Dad once to his gambling place. It was a dark, smoky room with many people playing cards and betting money. I stayed outside, hidden behind a wall. I saw my dad sitting at a table, looking sad and tired. His hands shook a little as he played. I wanted to help him. I wanted to tell him to stop, to come home and be with us. But I was only 12. What could I do? Suddenly I heard footsteps. Someone was coming. I froze. It was Dad. He looked around nervously. I watched as he picked up his coat and hat. He looked so lost. I wanted to call out to him, but I was afraid. I knew I had to do something. I took a deep breath and stepped out from my hiding spot. "Dad," I said softly, "please come home. You are hurting yourself and us." He looked surprised. His eyes were full of sadness and regret. "Emma," he said quietly, "I don't know how to stop. I feel trapped. I want to stop, but I can't." My heart hurt to see him like that. I wanted to fix everything. I wanted to make him see how much we all loved him. I took his hand gently. "Please try," I whispered. "We all want to be a family again. I believe you can change. We need you." He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "I wish I could," he said. "I am so tired, Emma. I have made so many mistakes." I felt tears in my own eyes. I wanted to be strong for him. I wanted him to know we still cared. I nodded. "You're not alone," I said. "We will help you. We can try together." He hugged me then, a long, quiet hug. I felt his sadness and his hope. I knew this was a moment I would never forget. This was the night I promised myself I would be brave. I would do everything I could to protect my family. When I returned home, I felt tired, but also proud. I told Liam that Santa was coming soon, and I made his favorite hot chocolate. I kept the house just warm enough, pretending everything was normal. My mom watched me carefully. I saw her smile again, a little more real this time. She nodded at me, and I smiled back. We were all trying to hold on to hope. That night, I lay in my bed and looked at the ceiling. I thought about my dad. I knew he was struggling, but I also knew he was tired of hurting us. I made a silent promise to myself. I promised that I would be brave. I promised I would never give up. I would protect Liam. And I would try to help my dad find his way back. Even in the dark, I knew there was a small light inside me. I would keep it shining. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day. It might not be perfect, but I believed that love and hope could still live in our home. And I would do everything I could to keep that hope alive. Because even in broken families, there is still a chance for kindness and change. I just had to be brave enough to take the first step. I woke up early on Christmas morning. The house was quiet. Outside, snow covered the ground. Inside, everything looked still and calm. But I could feel that something was different. I looked around and saw the small gifts I had made for Liam. Cardboard boxes wrapped with old paper. They looked like real presents from a store, but they were just my way of pretending everything was okay. Liam was still asleep. I sat beside him and gently shook his shoulder. "Liam, wake up! It's Christmas!" I whispered. His little face lit up when he saw the fake gifts. "Wow, Emma, you made these?" he asked, eyes wide. I nodded and smiled. "Yes, I wanted to make sure you still have a good Christmas," I said softly. Liam threw his arms around me. "Thank you, Emma. I love Christmas." I felt a small ache in my chest. Maybe he didn't understand all the pain we had inside. But I knew I had to keep his hope alive. Our mom came into the room quietly. She looked tired but tried to smile. "Merry Christmas, kids," she said softly. She sat down and hugged us both. I could see her eyes were a little shiny. I wondered if she was thinking about everything that had gone wrong. Later, I helped Liam open his tiny gifts. They were simple, but he was happy. He laughed and clapped. "This is the best Christmas ever," he cheered. I watched him and felt a warm feeling inside. Maybe, just maybe, we could still have a good day, even if things were not perfect. But I knew the truth. Our family's problems were still there. I saw my father's face in my mind. I remembered how he had looked when I followed him to his gambling den. He had been upset and tired. He wanted to stop, but didn't know how. That night, I decided I had to do something more. I had to find my father again, to talk to him. I promised myself I wouldn't let him give up. I would try to help him, even if it was hard. Before I went to look for him, I told Liam, "Listen, Liam, Christmas is about love and family. We have each other, and that's what matters most." He nodded happily, holding my hand. Later, I slipped out of the house quietly. I remembered where I had seen my father go before, to his secret place where he gambled. I was nervous, but knew I had to go. I crept down the street and found the small, smoky room. The smell was strange, and the lights flickered. I saw my father sitting at a table, paper money and chips in front of him. His face looked tired and sad. My heart beat fast. I wanted to run away, but I knew I couldn't. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. "Dad," I said softly. He looked up, surprised. His eyes widened when he saw me. "Emma, what are you doing here?" he asked, voice shaky. "I wanted to talk," I replied. "You promised me you'd stop gambling. You said you wanted to be a better father." He looked down, ashamed. "I can't stop, Emma. I'm stuck. It's like I'm in a trap, and I don't know how to get out." I took a step closer. "You're not alone. We all love you. But you have to choose. Do you want to keep losing everything, or do you want to try to be better?" He looked at me for a long moment. I saw tears in his eyes. "I feel so lost," he whispered. "I don't know how to stop. I don't want to hurt you or Liam." I felt my voice get stronger. "You don't have to do this alone. We can help you, but you have to want to change. For us, for Liam, for yourself." He nodded slowly. "Maybe I'll try. I don't want to lose my family. I just don't know how." I reached out and took his hand gently. "We'll be here, together. We can get through this." When I left that room, I felt tired but hopeful. I had done something brave. I had told my father how I felt. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I believed we could find a way. When I got home, Liam ran to me. "Did you find Dad?" he asked, eyes shining with hope. "Yes," I said softly. "And he's going to try to stop gambling. We all need to be strong together." That night, I looked at the Christmas tree. It was small, but it was ours. It wasn't perfect, but it was full of hope. I held Liam close and whispered, "This Christmas, we are still a family. And maybe, just maybe, things can get better." As I closed my eyes to sleep, I promised myself I would keep fighting. For Liam, for my mother, and for my family. I knew that even in the darkness, there was a tiny light of hope, and I would do everything I could to keep it burning. I wake up early on Christmas night. The house is quiet, but I can feel that something is wrong. Mom is sitting on the sofa. She is holding a cup, but her hands are trembling a little. Her face looks tired, but she puts on a small smile when she sees me. "Good morning, Emma," she says softly. "Did you sleep well?" "I did," I say, trying to sound happy. "I made a special breakfast for Liam. Do you want to see?" She nods and stands up slowly. We walk to the kitchen together. Liam is still asleep, wrapped in his blanket. I quietly put a small plate with a toy on it near him. It's not much, but I want to make his Christmas feel special, even if things are not perfect. Mom looks at Liam and then at me. She touches my arm gently. "Thank you, Emma. You are very brave." I feel a little warm inside. I know this is a tough night, but I also know I must stay strong. I want Liam to have a good Christmas. Later, I hear footsteps outside. I listen carefully. It's Dad. I hide behind the door. My heart beats fast. I have seen him go to his gambling den many times. I want to see what he is doing tonight. I quietly follow him. I tiptoe down the stairs and peek outside. I see him walking toward the alley. The street is dark, and the only light comes from the neon signs in the shops. I see him go into a small, smoky room. It's his hiding place, his secret world. I stand outside, feeling scared but also brave. I think about what I should do. I know I need to talk to him. I take a deep breath and step closer. "Dad," I call softly. He turns around quickly. His face looks tired and sad. For a moment, he looks surprised to see me. Then he sighs and looks down. "What are you doing here?" I ask. He hesitates. "Just thinking," he says quietly. I step inside a little. Mom is worried about us. Liam is waiting for Christmas. He doesn't know about these places. "Please, Dad, I want you to come home. We all need you." He looks at me. His eyes are full of regret. He shakes his head slowly. "I can't stop," he whispers. "I'm trapped in this. I don't know how to get out." I feel tears in my eyes, but I also feel something stronger. I step closer and hold out my hand. "I don't want you to be trapped," I say. "You are stronger than this. You just need to try. Please, come home. We all want you to be with us on Christmas." He looks at my hand and then at me. His shoulders shake a little. I see that he is fighting his feelings. He wants to say yes, but he is afraid. Finally, he sighs again. "Maybe I will try," he says softly. "Thank you, Emma. You are very brave." I smile, even though my heart is heavy. I know this is only the start, but I also know that I can help my family, even if I am just a girl. I turn to go back home. I want Liam to wake up and see that his dad might come back. I want to believe that this Christmas can be a new beginning, even after everything. When I get home, I find Mom and Liam waiting for me. Liam jumps into my arms and says, "Emma, Santa brought me a new gift." Mom looks at me and smiles. "You are a hero, Emma. You did something very brave tonight." I feel tired but happy. I sit beside them and hold Liam close. I know the night isn't over. There are still many problems, but I also know that hope is like a little light inside us. It can grow stronger if we keep trying. As I look out the window, I see the stars shining. Maybe Christmas isn't about gifts or decorations. Maybe it's about finding hope, even in the darkest night. And I promise myself that I will never give up. I will keep being brave, for Liam, for my mom, and for our family. Because even in hard times, love can find a way. This Christmas night is not perfect, but it's the start of something new. And I believe that one day we will be happy again. I just have to keep believing. I wake up on Christmas morning, and everything feels different. The house is quiet. The decorations are still up, but they look sad now. I look at Liam sleeping in his bed. He is so small and peaceful. I sit quietly beside him, holding my breath. I want him to have a happy Christmas, even if things are bad. I think about all the things we did last night. We made a small pretend Christmas. I wrapped some old toys in newspaper and put them in a box. Liam smiled when he saw the gifts. That made me feel a little better. I wanted him to believe in Christmas magic, even if it was just pretend. But inside, I feel tired. My legs hurt from running around. My heart feels heavy. I know that the night before was hard. I saw my father in his gambling den. He looked sad and lost. I told him I didn't want him to hurt our family anymore. He looked at me with sad eyes. He said he wanted to stop, but he didn't know how. I quietly promised myself that I will do everything I can to help him. I need to be strong. I can't let our family fall apart. I look at Liam again. He is still sleeping. I softly kiss his forehead. Then I go to find my mother. She is sitting in our small living room. She looks tired, but she tries to smile when she sees me. "Good morning," she says softly. "Happy Christmas," I answer. She nods and touches my hand. "It's still a special day," she whispers. I want her to believe that too. I know she is hurting inside, just like us. Suddenly, I think about my father. I wonder if he is feeling sorry now. Maybe he wants to be different. Maybe he wants to fix what he broke. I decide I will go see him again. I can't just stay here and wait. I need to know if he is okay, if he is trying to change. I quietly put on my coat. I take a deep breath and walk out the door. The cold air makes me shiver, but I don't stop. I remember the way to his gambling den. It's not far. I've seen it before. When I get there, I see the faint light inside. I walk slowly and open the door quietly. The room is smoky and noisy. My father is sitting alone at a small table. He looks tired. His face is sad. "Daddy," I say softly. He looks up and sees me. His eyes fill with tears. "Emma," he whispers. "I came to see how you are," I say. "Are you all right?" He sighs and rubs his face. "I'm not okay," he admits. "I keep losing money. I don't know how to stop. I feel trapped." I step closer. "You don't have to be trapped," I tell him. "You can ask for help. You don't have to do this alone." He looks at me very serious. "I want to stop," he says, "but I don't know how." I take his hand gently. "You can try," I say. "I believe in you. We all do." He nods slowly. His face looks softer now. I know he is feeling hope, even if he is still afraid. I want him to see that he is not alone, that our family still loves him. I want him to know that even when things are bad, there is still a chance to be better. I quietly walk back outside. I feel a little stronger now. I know I can't fix everything, but I can do my part. I can be brave for Liam, for my mother, and for my father. As I walk home, I look up at the sky. The stars are shining brightly. I think about what my mother said, that Christmas is still special. I promise myself that no matter how dark things get, I will hold on to hope. I will keep fighting for my family. I will be the light in our darkness. When I get home, Liam is still sleeping. My mother is in the kitchen making tea. I sit quietly next to her. "Thank you for being strong," she says softly. "I want us to be happy again," I answer. She smiles a little. "So do I, Emma. So do I." On Christmas morning, even with all the pain, I feel a small spark of hope inside me. I know it is enough to keep going, because even in the dark, there is a light, and I will do everything I can to keep that light burning bright. It was Christmas morning. The sun was just starting to rise, but I had already been awake for a long time. I looked around the small room I shared with Liam. Everything looked the same as always, but I felt different inside. I felt like I was holding a big secret, something I couldn't tell anyone. Liam was still sleeping. His tiny chest rose and fell softly. I smiled a little, remembering how I had made him a small gift. It was a simple card with a star drawn on it. I had wrapped it in old paper and hid it under his pillow. I wanted him to wake up happy, even if everything outside wasn't. I quietly slipped out of bed and tiptoed to the window. Outside, the snow was falling gently. It looked like a soft white blanket covering everything. It was beautiful, but I knew the day would not be easy. We had a Christmas to pretend was perfect, even though things were broken inside. I tiptoed down the hall and into the living room. The tree was small, but decorated with old ornaments. Some were broken, and some were missing pieces. Still, it looked festive and bright. In the corner, there were a few presents wrapped in old paper. They weren't fancy, but they were enough. My mother was in the kitchen. She was wearing her usual quiet smile, but I saw the sadness in her eyes. She was trying to make everything okay, like she always did. I went to her and softly said, "Merry Christmas, Mom." She looked at me and smiled. "Merry Christmas, Emma," she whispered. Her voice was soft and tired. She hugged me gently. I could feel her sadness, but I also felt her strength. Liam came running into the room, holding his little gift. "Emma, look what I got," he shouted happily. His face was full of joy. I kneeled down and hugged him tight. "It's beautiful, Liam. I hope you like it." He nodded excitedly. "I love it. Thank you, Emma." We sat together for a few minutes, pretending everything was normal. But I knew better. I knew the truth about what had happened last night. I knew the money was gone because of Dad's gambling. I knew that Christmas wouldn't fix what was broken inside our family. Suddenly, I remembered the small gift I made for Liam. I reached under his pillow and pulled out the folded paper. I gave it to him gently. "This is for you, Liam. Just a little something to remind you that we love you." He looked at it with big eyes. "For me?" he asked. "Yes," I said softly. "Open it." He unfolded the paper carefully. Inside, he saw a drawing of a star and a little note that said, "To Liam, with love, from Emma." His face lit up with a wide smile. "It's my favorite Christmas gift," he said happily. Liam ran to show Mom. She looked at the drawing and smiled. "That's very special, Emma," she said quietly. "Thank you for making Liam so happy." I felt a warm feeling inside, but also a little sad. I knew this Christmas was not like others. We were pretending everything was fine. Deep down, I wished things could be different, but I also knew I had to be brave. Later, I saw Dad sitting alone in his room. His face looked tired and sad. I remembered what I had seen the night before, him in the gambling den, losing more money. I took a deep breath and decided I had to do something. Quietly, I went to his door and knocked. "Dad," I said softly. He looked up and sighed. "Emma," he whispered. "I know you're tired," I said, "but I want you to know that we still believe in you. I want you to try to stop gambling. For us, for Liam and Mom." He looked at me with sad eyes. "I don't know if I can stop," he said. "I feel stuck. I don't want to hurt you all, but I can't help it." I stepped closer. "You're not alone," I said. "We all want things to get better. Please try. We love you, Dad." He looked down, silent for a moment. Then he nodded very slowly. "I'll try," he said quietly. "I promise." That small promise made me feel a little stronger. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I believed he could change. I looked at Liam and Mom, both waiting for me in the other room. I knew I had to be brave and keep going. As the day went on, we sat together. We shared a simple meal, just some bread and soup. We didn't have much, but we had each other. I looked at Liam playing with his new toy and at Mom's quiet smile. Even though everything was not perfect, I felt a flicker of hope. I knew that this Christmas was different. It was not about presents or decorations. It was about love, strength, and the promise to try again. That night, as I lay in bed, I looked out the window at the snow falling. The world outside was cold, but inside me I felt a little warmer, because I had made a small difference. I had taken a step to protect my family and to be brave. I closed my eyes and thought about the future. I promised myself that I would never give up. No matter how hard things got, I would keep trying to make our family better. And maybe, just maybe, with hope and courage, we could find a way back to happiness. Because even in the darkest night, there is always a light waiting to shine.